Right. Anyhow, this is part of that other part of that painting of the Capaspy, and let's put it back in the frame, and I'm gonna just work around the painting, trying to build up my colour and composition. The painting was done probably a couple of weeks ago down at the Beechworth Bakery, but I only got it washed in because I was a bit busy on the day. But I was doing another painting too. Um, and they're just lovely little subtle colours in this one. And it'll be interesting to just see how it comes up. Defining the other side of the trees and that, and a few of the branches. Yeah, it's a good idea to try and keep on encouraging yourself as you're going along. You want to be able to stimulate yourself with the painting, and keep it interesting. And yeah, so you work all over different spots of the painting. You never work in the one spot. Although I've seen artists where they work from top to bottom and finish off as they're going down, and that's fine. But uh, you know, I find it I find it quite comfortable doing what I'm doing. Just working around the whole area. And I'm not painting a bloody Rembrandt. I'm painting a painting that I feel that wants to satisfy me and keep me in it, keep me going. I mean, if this stimulates me, I keep going. I go on to the next one. I probably even work. I work three or four, five, six paintings at a time. And some of the paintings I've been working on for quite a long time. I get down around along the river, and I sell my paintings at times, but it's not my main aim. My main aim is to uh, give me a good feeling, and this is how I get a good feeling. Bloody working with nature, moving colour around, lines, uh, composition, believe me, I'm only learning. Well, I've been painting for 50 years. I feel like I've been painting longer than the famous people, but I just love painting. There's no great interest in making a lot of money, although money's part of it. If you've been painting for a while, it's just beautiful to be able to sell the odd paintings here and there and keep yourself going. I mean, paint's not cheap today, and all the materials. I don't contest to say that buying expensive paint is going to make you any better painter, but some of the dearer paint is obviously better than some of the cheaper paints. But some of the cheaper paints too are not too bad either. They seem to hold their colour and uh, strength because I mean I used quite a few cheaper sort of colours many years ago, and my paints haven't faded. I don't see one of my paintings that any painting that I've put oil paint on a canvas uh, has never faded on me. Not in 50 years. The paintings that I done years ago, and I use a lot better equipment today. I don't, use canvas a lot. I've used rolls of canvas over the years, but I used to live in the car and travel around. I had a trailer as well, and I'd load up my paints in the back of the car. I'd reckon I'd be throwing out miles of bloody canvas, and and not only that, if I look at it in reality, I mean, I use a lot of MDF board, ply, and things like that. I still use canvas boards, and I can still use canvas. I stick it on me on the MDF board and that, But there's a whole pile of different ways, With the MDF, you can, put any texture you like on the board, you know, with paintbrushes, different types of paintbrushes and rollers and things like that, you know. And I like to work with a smooth board, and only because, man, I get real harsh when I'm working on canvas. I get real harsh with my brushes. I wear one out in the painting, you know, because I scrub a lot and that with the painting. So I just wear the brushes out, and if they're expensive ones, they're gone. They'll be gone on my first paint. So I don't advise anyone who's learning to paint to go out and buy Belgian linen and $60 brushes, because believe me, you can paint with a stick, and you know, and you can paint with a paintbrush and different size paintbrushes. You don't need all this artistic material stuff to bloody paint like they try to sell you. But you know, if that's what you do and you want to do, that's fine. You know, I'm not trying to change anyone's way of doing things. I'm only talking for how I do it myself. You know, I try to, you know, I'm not cashed up as a millionaire or anything like that. So I mean, I need, you know, the good painters. They're all got money behind them, or they got mums and daddies behind them that are painting and stuff. You know, I don't have that at this stage. I just got to plod along and do my thing. You know, and battle along. And you know, when I'm around the Port of Echuca and have painting, I do sell quite a few paintings, and I've had quite a few people come here and buy paintings and at home and that, you know. But I still say it's not the main target. The main target is a way of life for Pete the Painter. It's got me through life, you know. It helps with depression and things like that. Although when it's not working properly, it can make you depressed, and you can have creative depressions, to believe me, and they can be pretty powerful. But you usually come through them, and you come out firing with all this massive creative ideas, you know. Uh, it really is a good life, you know. I can go and mow the lawn, come in and do a couple of hours. I even think of go planes there, go down and paint on the river, or you know, I can go and take a few photos. I can come back here and go through my photos. Work it out on computer. You can work out compositions on computer if you want, if you're smart enough, and most young kids are today. You know, the equipment we've got now for doing paints is quite magic, you know. You know, you can saturate colours in your photos. You can do anything on a photo. What the cameraman used to be able to do, we can sit at home and do it on a computer today. But it's those things do help. But I mean, they're not the great. The best idea, I think, is getting off your butt and getting out there in nature and painting. You know, because at least you're there and you're seeing things changing all the time. You know, and of course, you know, when you get that little bit of light that hits on the tree somewhere, or even with a bit of lightning or something like that, just that magic few seconds can give you an idea as you're going along building up that painting. You know, you might put that extra little bit of light in that branch or that tree, and it'll help to bring that part alive. You know, darken around the outside of those areas and make the lights lighter, and the dark with the darks darker. You know, like it's. It really is a magical sort of way of life. But I love painting the Murray and the gums around here and that sort of thing. I love painting the pedal boats, but there is a bit of work in the paint in the pedal boats. But I still love painting them, and I love making my own frames. Most of my stuff's made out of recycled timber. You know, I mean, you stick a painting in a shop, and the shopkeeper wants to sell it. You sell a paint for 300. They want to sell it for 300. You got to have the painting's got to be 600. You know, like everything's just got out of hand and got greedy. The framer wants a two or three, and you go and want a frame around your paint, it's going to cost you $200 or $300. Then the painter has got to put the painting in that frame and then try and make his bit of money. You go and put them your paintings in a gallery in a thing, and they get 50%. You know, you sell a paint for $1,000, you've got to sell it for 2,000 because they got to make 1,000. You know, like all crazy stuff. You know, so don't ever go into painting for the money side of it. You go into painting because you love painting and you love nature, you love working with paint, colour, texture, composition, and just a great way to go. And we're always learning. Doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've been painting. It's part and parcel of the day of painting anyhow. While we're actually doing a painting, every day you're doing a painting, you learn something new about how the paint rolls, uh, you know, how composition works, how texture works, you start to see that raw colours have got just as big a part to play in it as you do with your paintings that you saturate with a bit of white. Like it really, there really is a few little rules to it to get a satisfying painting. But then look, you can go and paint a dot on canvas and go and make millions of dollars. So trust me, just worry about using painting as a way of life, and if you can sell yourself an odd paint here and there, that's a bit of a bonus too. At the same time, but yeah, I won't even finish this painting here tonight. It's just bloody. Uh, just bloody. I've got too many little things to do. But what I'll do is I've got another 2 or 3 paintings that are actually this size. I think it's a 12 by 14. This frame or this painting, and I've done a couple of others. I've got the lightning one that I've done that I've shown on YouTube. That one's finished, but I might need to go into that and do a little bit of work in it just to satisfy myself. And the sunset one there that I was doing, so I've got them in the moonlight one. I'll work on them and show you how they come up too. I'll work on them on YouTube and show you how they come up as I'm going along. But yeah, this little spot here that's being painted, that's down at the Beechworth Bakery on the Campaspe River. This is not the Murray, this is the Campaspe. And it's just a magical little spot. The actual moon comes up over the back there. Some nights I've seen it with the moon coming up, going down, I should say, and the beautiful colours in the morning when it's going down, I should say. And yeah, misty mornings. Yeah, misty mornings. I usually put a magpie or two in these paintings because over the years there's been maggies and that have sort of hung around the area. They sort of know me actually, and I think they do. Anyhow, that's just my opinion. They probably don't. I'm probably a nutcase, but anyway, I like to think they know me. Uh, yeah, it really is a magical way of life. I hope this is working with the sound and that. This video goes for about a half an hour anyhow. You can see there how that light pulls that tree forward, and I can go lighter again with that. That's a grey. I heard someone say on YouTube that grey, think blue with grey, and I think he's right. I think you can have a red grey, green grey, blue grey, but it's all made with blue. Yeah, blue's the main thing with it. And but yeah, you can look at your paintings and they can be a bit greyish. This will change as I go along, and get a few branches up the top around that big tree, and maybe a few little thin ones over the other side. And when I start to pull a bit of sky through those trees over the background with a little bit of colour and a little bit more branch structure, this little painting will come alive. And I think maybe could have cockies in there. I don't know. See what I don't. But I'll probably have a magpie in there. The soils on the side of the river, the colours change in the morning, in the afternoon, midday, depending on how the sun's hitting them and how much dampness has been through the night or in the morning or rain. Rain changes it. And anyone, if you've ever done a bit of painting outside, you can see how the soil changes with the wet, but also the greens change too, and all the leaves, all the gum trees on a misty day, on a very misty day where you got a light bit of rain, a really hot, humid day, and a bit of misty rain on the gum trees, and the barks just come alive. It's like Luna Park. The barks are green, they're pink, they're rich orange, they're yellow, they've just got a lot of massive, beautiful changes. See what I'm doing here with this colour? It's looking a bit negative. I'll probably take a lot of that colour back out of that as I'm going along, um, and put some light back in that water, because you can see when I'm starting to put that brown in there that it was actually a negative. It was a negative colour. It just doesn't seem right. It's too powerful. But it just what I'm trying to say is that colour doesn't mean that has to stay there. I can change that colour and bring that alive and make it feel good by just putting a bit more cadmium orange, bit of white, bit of or yellow ochre or something like that. With a little bit of lemon yellow or cadmium yellow. I can lighten that and then darken it off as I go along with a bit of blue or something. Um, yeah. Anyhow, I'll just with the back of the brush on these nylon brushes, I'm trying to put a little bit of root around the bottom of the tree, but I can see that I'm going to have to darken around in there with a bit of ultramarine blue, raw sienna and stuff, a little bit of magenta or something in there, darken that, and then bring the foliage, the roots over the top of the darkness. Yeah, so I think the next time I go through this, we'll just about finish it. When I get that foliage up on the top of those trees, on the tree on this side, play around with it, I'll be able to, you know, do my thing. Anyhow, yeah, I've got a misty one too. I took some photos this morning down the river on the Murray, and I'm thinking, I might do a small one of a misty morning too, just to show you how that works, and but the whole thing is in knowing the paint, knowing your mediums, and look, the only things I use is oil, and I don't even use terps anymore, because it stinks. They say that liquid's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as bloody terps and that, and it helps to set the oil off. If you use it straight, if you have a little tiny bit of oil that will hold it off. That's what happened with the storm the lightning one I was doing. It was still a bit wet the next day. But if you want to really dry it, just put a straight bit of liquid in the paint, and it'll be dry tomorrow. You know. But it's nice to work through the wet paint too. And in some instances you can get really fine branches with little sticks when you've got a little bit of tinted paint on your brush or your stick, and you're going over the wet surface. You can get nice fine little branches. And look, people do contemporary. Maybe one day I'll probably finish up doing some contemporary and stuff, but or abstract. But I still love the idea of having a bit of branch structure around. And of course, if you're going to have branch structure around, there's going to be times where you want real thin branches. So really, it's really handy to go over them with wet paint. While the paint's wet, I can use my sticks and come across that wet paint with a bit of dark paint or something like that, or light paint, whatever I've got to do, and it seems to roll across the canvas beautifully. When you're using brushes and you've got shitty brushes and you're trying to put in these little branch structures and stuff, they don't look right because they look too thick and big in the painting. Everything's got to sort of look reasonably right, doesn't it, to make a painting pleasing. Uh, yeah. Mm. Yeah, so she's looking good. Got a little bit of that, putting a little bit of light stuff on the trunk, but it's a bit too creamy. It's just a little bit too creamy for my liking. And I have to go and put a little bit of dark here and there too as I'm building. As you're looking up to the top of the tree, the foliage gets a little bit darker. Putting in a few little twigs here and there, little dead branches or fallen logs around the edge of the tree. But still, it's not in. It's still not finished. It's still uh, still got a way to go. Remembering too with the thin brush and the tinted paint that's on there, it's white and it's probably got a bit of raw sienna or yellow, Cadbury yellow and a bit of red or something like that in it, but it's thick so that when you wipe the brush, it sticks to the paint like it comes off thick rather than just wiping your paintbrush. Because I know what happened years ago when I first started painting. I used to kill the paint. While I was painting, I wouldn't have enough on the paintbrush and I'd be painting it on my canvas. But as I'm going, I'd be going over it and I'd be going over it again and going over it again, but it wouldn't be doing anything. It wouldn't be working because each time, you're working. If, a lot of times we do work wet over wet. So you need to have a little bit thicker paint to go over the top of that other wet paint. Otherwise, if you haven't got enough paint on the brush and you wipe it onto your wet paint, it's just going to go into the wet paint. And so there's another thing too that's important too. I find that some paints can be a bit runny. It's nice to have a medium type white where you've got a bit of body in it. So you can actually pick up a tiny thick bit of it on the end of your brush and just touch the little twig there and here and there. If you've got it too runny, it won't sit on the brush and it'll just wipe off. So your paint, it needs to be of a medium sort of texture, like toothpaste. Not runny and not real hard. Just you know, you can always put a little bit of medium in them to soften your paint down, but you need to have that paint with a bit of body in it. Otherwise, nothing works. If I was going over this paint, because all this paint's still wet, it's dry where it's been done a week or two ago, but most of the stuff like the sky and that now and this painting is all wet. So if I don't have the right amount of paint on the end of that brush, yeah, the paint's gonna go nowhere, you know. So yeah. So anyhow, I'm even looking forward. I'm not going to go. I'm not going. Like I say, I'm not going to finish this painting tonight. But I'm thinking of. I'm looking forward to seeing it finished. You know. So yeah. Anyhow. La da ba do. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm hoping that it's gonna be a good day tomorrow painting. I think coming home tonight. It was a bit misty where I live at the moment in Victoria, up north in Echuca. And man, the fog from Tonga to Echuca was that thick you could hardly see through the car. But you know, when I get out in the morning, I don't look like getting up real early to get out there and watch the sun come up. But if I really wanted to get some photos, that's what I would do. I was up early enough this morning down at the river to get some fog. I've got about two or three paintings with one with the Pevensey in the mist to do, and which I may do on YouTube too. In fact, I might do some paddle boat ones on YouTube too, but I'm just going to keep popping out paintings, and if people are interested, look, it's just, I'm only using basic paints. I don't use that many colours. It's just red, blues, and yellows, and like normal, a couple of earth colours, and not always using cadmium colours either. You know, I know cadmium, and I carry cadmium reds and yellows and things like that, but I don't always use them. But they're very handy for tinting and, if I want a strong bit of paint. And some of them have got are pretty expensive in the mineral type of it, but I mean, all the colours, some of them are like Pathlo Blues are a nice tinting, got a nice tinting strength, and it works well with ultramarine blue too, believe me. The ultramarine blue and a bit of Pablo blue, and it makes a beautiful sky. Powerful, um, you know. So I use Pablo Blue. People say that it's pretty powerful, but it is pretty powerful. But I'm not using it all the time. But the sky is another important part of it too. Even though the sky colour might be simple, it needs to work with the whole overall of the painting. So you've got to find the sky colour in the paint, and which it will be, because the blue, the grey, the yellow, they're going to be there. Because at the end of the day, our paint's made up of red, yellows, and blues. It's made up of the rainbow colours. So you're going to find those mixtures of two or three colours in that stuff, of no matter what colour you're doing, painting on that thing. So, and anyhow, if you keep it that way, without too mud in there, you won't muddy it up anyhow. Um, but anyhow, she's just about end of my night for painting. I'm just going to pop this one on YouTube, and that'll show you where I've gone with this painting tonight, and that'll be it, eh? So that's really the end of that. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to